Welcome back to Tom's Garage, guys. This Tuesday morning, it's about 60 degrees, man. Feels really good out there today. I had a customer call me day before yesterday. It's going to be a situation where the video I've done last week about the camshaft, this customer stated that his was doing the same thing. Let me show you. I haven't even taken it off the trailer yet. I picked it up last night about 6 when he got off work, and it was already dark. That was kind of weird. But he said when he turned the key, the engine would just bump. The starter would engage, but it wouldn't spin. And when I got there, he actually had it cranked. He said he would have to grab that flywheel and help it spin. But when I got out of the car walking up to it, it was just a cloud of smoke, and I knew pretty quick it was probably just a needle seat leaking in the carburetor. It filled the crankcase with gasoline. I checked the oil and it was way high, and it was clear gasoline. So this is going to be a carburetor job. Craftsman LT3000, and so we're going to get this thing off the trailer. We're going to get it in there on the table, and we're going to diagnose and figure this thing out, guys. Well, here she is on the table. Single cylinder intake. I don't believe it's got a problem with the cam. This was going to be simply that nasty Nikki carburetor. I am not going to attempt to clean that. What I'd like to do is throw on a Walboro aftermarket. This part number is 792763 or a 594605. These things are very inexpensive. It is worth it just to slap a new one on there instead of having to deal with that thing. Let me show y'all what I have discovered. And this is the telltale sign when you go to check the oil. Boy, it's clear, smells just like gasoline. Stick that in there, check the oil level. All right, there's the full mark there. And this level is all the way up there. And it's just clear, just gasoline. So let's look in the tank and see how much fuel is actually left in the tank. Well, it appears to me it's half full, but look at that junk down in the bottom of it. I got to pull the fuel tank and clean out all that little pieces of debris. That could be anything. It may be this gasket off this gas cap, but it probably passed a little piece of that down the fuel line into the carburetor. That's probably all that's wrong. It's just got trash or something in it, and I got to get all that out. But slap a new carburetor on it. When you get these carburetors, guys, when they're aftermarket, it comes with this little plastic tit sticking up. You need to snip that off. I don't know what in the world that is for, but when you put that on there, it's going to cause the choke to stick between that plastic manifold and the cover. That's a lot of tight clearance in there. So you gotta snip that off. It sticks up about half an inch probably. I don't know why they put that on there. But anyway, and oh look, I got Big Mo in my shop today. And let's get this thing up in the air. Let's get that fuel tank off, take the carburetor off, slap the new one on there. I have got, this one doesn't come with a fuel solenoid, but I'm gonna put one on there. I may use that one or something else. All right, man, let's stand by, boys. Okay, let's get this booger tore apart. 10 millimeter. Take the gas tank off first, get it drained and cleaned out. Come on, take a free ride. That's going to be a heck of a mess when I take that drain plug off. This thing is so full of gas, it's just going to shoot everywhere. I'll wait till it drains a good bit before I pull the dipstick out, because you pull the dipstick out, it's going to suck air and it's just going to flow faster. So, that's that. I'm just glad it's warm today. Golly, it's like 60 degrees right now. Started sprinkling rain earlier. It is not supposed to rain yet. Okay, there's that. Pull the fuel tank out. Yeah, let's dump. It's still got a good bit of fuel in it. Still got a good bit. Let's see. Let me see if I can keep from making another mess. Yep. Oh, don't drop it. Oh, all over my foot. I got to get those pieces out of there. That's going to fill my bucket all the way up. Lord, don't light no cigarette. Good grief. Yeah, I've got to, let's walk out here in the driveway. See if I can shake them pieces loose. Yep, there goes a piece. There goes another piece. Still got one more little piece in there. I believe I got it. She is clean as a whistle now. There's nothing in there. Yeah, this was part of the fuel cap. Yep, that's part of the fuel cap. That's the gasket. See how it's just coming to little pieces? All the little microscopic pieces right there. Just, that's got to be all that's wrong with that carburetor. I'm gonna see if I can't just clean that carburetor. Look at that. Got to get a new fuel cap. Let me do something with this before I dump it out. I know I will. Let's set it well out of the way. Okay, next thing we got to do is we need to get this cover off. Air filter looks good and clean. Clean it anyway. Blow it out with the air hose real good. Okay, I see it's missing one bolt right there. The whole thing is kind of loose. Oh, that's just a plastic cover there. All right. Okay. Back these out a little bit. Burn out there. And I'm running out of room to work in here again. Yeah, get that fuel tank out of the way and you can actually get to this bolt easier. You don't have to take them all the way out. So now I'm going to drain this, whatever's in this crankcase. Pull that thing off right there. Kind of hard to get to. That whole thing is loose in the engine block. If I can just grab that little piece of plastic right there. Yeah, there it goes. Ooh, look how thin that is. That is all gasoline. I bet it fills that bucket up almost. Watch when I take this dipstick off, it's gonna really shoot. There it goes. Whew. Boy, I am making a mess with this thing. Oh, now it's getting all over the table. No! God, what a mess. See if I can hold this up. Well, let me close that back off. Damn, the whole thing come off. That ain't right. I hate these drain plugs. These things leak. I can manage to get that back on there. I'm gonna block this thing off for now till I can get another lower profile bucket. Look at my table down there. It is just dripping. Let me set this well out of the way. I'll be wearing that too. Good grief. Hell, what happened when you get a piece of trash in your carburetor, man? All that, you know, the weight of all that fuel is just sitting on that little needle right there. And it makes a heck of a mess. Heck of a mess. Go ahead and get this cover off. And it's got an O-ring that fits over this intake manifold. Pull it up over that. And I have found if you take a little axle grease or something and wipe on that O-ring, it'll pop right back over it real easy. Otherwise, if it was dry, you'd be beating on it. But see, you can tell how this thing just filled up with gasoline. I mean, it's all the way up here. It's just, yeah. Let me grab my flashlight and I'll show you guys. There's a carburetor way down there. I don't know if you can see it or not. But this thing is full of gas. This crankcase vent tube, where it hooks to the bottom of the intake, watch, look at that, just full of gasoline. Wow, what a mess. What a mess. All right, let me grab another bucket. Grab a bucket. I believe that's going to be too small. I don't have a small bucket. We'll just have to let this one fill up. Get in there like that. Get that into there like that. There we go. Get that cap out of the way. And we'll just let that dribble and finish draining. Golly, all in the floor. Ooh. Okay, let's see, let me grab another rag. Grab my air hose. I'm gonna turn that compressor off. I know y'all don't want to hear that compressor run. So what we'll do, just give it just a little bit of air. All right, let that drain. That's a good engine flush right there. That's a good engine flush. Okay, now we'll take the carburetor off. I done tracked gasoline all over the place. Look at all the gas all over the table. Good Lord. Make sure that O-ring is good. It's got that O-ring swelled up from being submerged in gasoline. We'll have to put this in the parts washer and clean all that goo off of it. Yeah. Okay, 5/16 now. What did I do with my 5/16? That is not a 5/16. That's a 3/8. Well, that's a 3/8. There's my 5/16. What's got your sinuses open? It does that. Unhook the choke. Unhook the governor linkage. Well, I gotta unplug that solenoid wire. I should have done that first. Now it's gonna be hard to hold it. There we go. Get that thing right there. Turn around. You gotta turn it just to the right angle. There it goes. Get that little spring off of there. Okay. To the parts washer with this thing. Get all that crud off of here. Now it'll be covered in kerosene too. You got to clean the outside before you take it apart, otherwise you'll get the inside contaminated. Nasty, nasty Nikki. Okay. We'll take and blow this thing off with a little air into the trash can. Now it's clean enough to work on. And right back to the bench with it. Get that thing out of the way. Move this out of the way. These screws can be awful damn tight. I've had to in the past use an impact driver to get those things off. I like to use a number 3. Grab a rag here. There goes that damn phone again. God, y'all leave me alone. Okay. Dripping oil and gasoline. And be careful not to break these levers on top. That one's plastic, like I mentioned. Yeah, they're pretty tight. Pretty darn tight. You got to use the correct size Phillips on that. Otherwise, you will strip that screw. I'm going to use a large. Yeah, that was a little too large. It won't go all the way in. You can use a Phillips or a straight head. Flat. Right, here we go. There we go. Get that in there. Hold it firmly. Oh, yeah, this one's gonna give me trouble. No, 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 no. Let me find a number 3 Phillips. Nope, it's a little too small for a number 3 Phillips. I need to find a little bit better screwdriver. Let's see what this one looks like. That one's a lot thinner on the end. There we go, we got it. All right, both of these are out now. Man, this carburetor is cold. That gasoline in this thing is absolutely cold. It's freezing my fingers. Ooh, it's cold. Okay. Make sure I don't hurt that rubber O-ring in there. Come out of there. And this fuel solenoid is bad. It's not even moving. It failed open, but that has nothing to do with the engine crankcase flooding. All that does is it stops the fuel flow to that jet right there. It ain't got nothing to do with the fuel bypassing that needle right there. And that's what the problem is. All that'll do is just cause it to backfire when you cut it off. I was hoping to find bigger pieces of trash in it. Well, blow it out with a little air. Let's see, while I'm at it, let me clean that jet. I mean, it ran, so I know the jets are open. I may well just order a new carburetor. I was hoping it'd be a big obvious piece of trash inside of that needle, and it's not. So that, let me look at the numbers on this thing. It is 2006, so this thing is a good, what is 6 minus 22, whatever that is, you can figure out how old it is. Pretty old. It's probably never been worked on. I'm hoping it did just pass. I'm going to put it back together and just let it set overnight and see if in fact it just passed a piece of trash. Because the bowl, yeah, there's all kinds of little pieces of debris in there. Cleaned that real good. I may go ahead and replace that. Too. That fuel solenoid. Yep. God, that thing's tight. Yeah, I may go ahead and replace that too. It is bad. That thing's supposed to be springy. When you turn the key on, give it 12 volts, it'll pull it down away from that jet. And then when you turn the key off, that will spring out and block the fuel flow while the engine is turning to a stop. So that needs to be there. A lot of people will take and just snip that thing off. They'll take it out and snip it off, which is not good. But hey, if it works for you, that's fine. All right. I'm going to finish cleaning this carburetor and put it back together. And one thing I'd like to do before I put it back together is hold this thing up to really, really, really bright light and make sure there's no fuel inside of this, because it will, of course, weigh it down. And that'll cause the fuel to bypass the needle too. So what I like to do is come over here to the parts washer and give it a dunk and just make sure it floats. And there it is. It floats perfectly like it should. Floats like it should. All right, man, here is a new, I didn't like the way this one set in there, so I'm going to replace the float too. So we got a new needle and the float itself. 16 years old, man. This thing needs to be replaced. And we got us a new fuel solenoid. So let's test this fuel solenoid, make doubly sure it's going to work. Just plug it in. And let's see, let's turn the key and see if it sucks it in. Yep. Off, on. Seems to work pretty good. Okay, get it back together. Let's see, I want to put the spring on first. I can get my finger to make it bend like I want to. There we go. Make sure that spring don't get caught under there. Hook that there. Get it the right angle. And then that one goes. I like to just pull that choke out. Then you can hook it in there. If I can find the hole. There we go. It's going to go right back in there. And studs back in. And just a little bump. Make sure the choke works. Good. Everything's free. I meant to clean that. Let me clean that real quick. Pow, it's clean. I wasn't going to make y'all watch me do that. So we'll put the nuts back on it. Okay, works. Put the crankcase ventilation tube back on the back of it there. And let's see, we are going to fill it back up with fuel, put the gas tank, well, we'll put the cover back on it, then the gas tank, and count to 3 and it will be done. 3 and it's done. I went out to the junk shed and found an old engine, and I found the proper bolt. You got to have the proper length shoulder bolt for that right there. There we go. Now let's see, I need that. I need that. This out of the way. Give that one the wheel. Tighten that. That. Standing in fuel. When you put their cover back on, give it a spin. Make sure the plastic fins on the flywheel ain't caught up in that, because I have had to replace those before. Yeah, the fellow that owns this tractor called me in kind of desperation. I guess he was trying to get his leaves mulched. And he's got one almost like this. It's another, I think it's a LT3000 with another single cylinder intake engine. And he offered it to me and said, you can have it. And I said, well, great, I'll just pick it up when I bring yours back. So there's another free tractor. I can put a little TLC in and have something else to sell next spring. Hey, that's free money. I like it. Plug the solenoid back in. There we go. Now we'll get the fuel tank. Put the fuel tank, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is over there. Real nice guy. He only lives a couple of 2 or 3 miles away. And that's just another customer in my clientele I added. Man, I tell you, I got so burnt out over the season doing this. I stayed so dang busy. But it has helped a little bit with slowing down lately. Got to spend more time with Mother. Things just seem to be a little less stressful now for some reason. I like to stay just busy enough to have a couple of things a week to do out here, not just have a whole damn driveway full of stuff all the way out to the street. And having to work full time too. It gets stressful. Okay. Boy, that fuel line needs to be replaced. Look at that. Let me do that before I do anything else. And I'm going to give my new fuel filter too. That certainly needs to be done. Well, I just pulled the damn fuel line off the tank. Look at that. Boy, this thing was in bad shape. I bet it's never been serviced. Let me pull the fuel tank back off and get a whole new fuel line. Okay, she is all back together. Fresh oil change, fuel line, needle, float bowl in the carburetor, fuel. Let's fire. This thing is going to smoke like a freight train. That's why I've already got the exhaust fans on. God almighty. Let me get this thing out of here, man. Hose it, clean it real good. Put the hood back on. And she's good to go, man. I appreciate y'all watching the video, guys. All right, guys, there is the finished product. I just realized that the bearings and the spindles are wore out, so we're gonna have to do that. And I finally got the shock cleaned up. Man, it looked like somebody did an autopsy in there. Let me turn the exhaust fan off now. And you guys tune in this week. I'm off. I got a lot to do out here at home. I'm gonna do a couple of product reviews too. So y'all stay tuned to that. Love you guys.